You want to take another polygraph?
Too long, I'll take whatever you need to take. I'm not hiding nothing.
Right.
Working with you guys with,
Hey, well, a lot of guilty people work at the place.
Well,
I'm not saying you're guilty,
I
but...
understand. I don't know, whatever you want me to do, that's all I got to say. I'm just not going to jump for someone else's bullshit, I know that.
This was your opportunity. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's my opportunity, but I am not admitting to something I didn't have part of, okay? Yeah, you guys, I've been treated like hell ever since this fucking case started. My family's been treated like shit. I lost my job here at the police department, and and it's continued for something that I have no control over. I love being a police officer.
We didn't make the lies up, Ray.
No, I'm not lying. I had nothing to do with this case.
We didn't make the inconsistencies. We didn't make them up. You did.
This is bullshit.
Well, Ray McCann would go to jail for someone else's bullshit, and the person whose bullshit it was is named Daniel Furlong. But Ray was not charged with the death of Jodi. They could not prove it. Instead, he was charged with perjury, where he would serve a 20-month prison sentence. If you have not seen the interrogations of Ray McCann, the playlist is linked in the description below. Ray was a reserve officer in Constantine, Michigan. He was railroaded by his own department to get this case solved, which they ultimately failed in doing. The case was the murder of local Constantine child 11-year-old Jodi Parrack. After going missing on November 8, 2007, the search began. Jodi was ultimately found in the Constantine Cemetery, no longer alive. Daniel Furlong, who was 58 at the time of Jodi's disappearance and 65 at the time of this interrogation in 2015, was only caught after he tried to abduct another little girl in nearby White Pigeon, Michigan. He was arrested, and when Daniel's DNA matched in the Jodi Parrack case, he was offered a deal by the prosecution to grant him immunity for all other offenses that he may have committed, if he came down and told them the truth about what happened to Jodi Parrack. The immunity included the attempted abduction he was originally arrested for. This is part 2 of the interrogation. Part 1 is in the description below. This is an exclusive interrogation, and to ensure that this channel is able to get these interrogations, it is crucial that you hit that like button, that you subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, let YouTube know that you want to see this content. Okay, enough rambling, let's get into it. Let us first have a moment of silence for the victim in this case.
How did you feel when you're doing this stuff? Those are the questions.
You know what?
Geez, Dan, I mean, you're educating us, Dan. You really are. You're teaching us all. And I know you talked to me the other day about wanting to be some kind of to teach somebody, something, or you haven't had opportunity. Yeah, you're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. I mean, these young whippersnappers here, they got a long time to go. I don't. I got, a few years under my belt here and seeing some of this stuff going on, and listened to a lot of interviews and talked to a lot of people. And here, you know what? Here's a friend that I've known for 40 years that I'm listening to you and learning right now. So, just be cool.
Sure you don't want another piece of pizza?
I'm going to get you some Supreme if you want some, and a Mountain Dew. You want a Mountain Dew, or you said Pepsi or something like
I Pepsi.
We don't have any Pepsi.
Don't have
I'll bring
it.
a Mountain Dew pizza.
Yeah.
If you start running laps in here, we're going to have to slow you down. Mountain Dew and coffee, I don't know, man. All right.
So you got my drift there again on.
You make a bad cup of coffee.
That's kind of like that espresso machine or something.
When I make that much grime in the bottom.
All right, so did you think about anything that you can enlighten us with? Because I want you to remember, these details are details to help us confirm what you're telling us is the truth. But in terms of your plea deal that they're giving you, it doesn't make a bit of difference, only if you're not truthful. So if you could tell me that you raped her and all this stuff, and in terms of if it's the truth, it's the only thing that's going to matter. But if you're not truthful, and if some of these details are sketchy, Dan, it's going to hurt you. It can't help you. Do you understand that? I really want you to understand that you have to be upfront. The stuff about I don't remember. Remember, I've done this way too long. I've talked to too many people who've had bad things like this go wrong. It happens. Okay? And I understand why you're trying to minimize some of this stuff, Dan. I get it. I truly understand. But now isn't the time to do that because the deal's already been worked out for you. So you don't have to minimize anything. The deal's done. All you have to do is be truthful and be completely honest. But we need that honesty. Okay? I understand. Can you get one more? That some of these things are difficult to talk about. Man, I can tell you that I've talked to people who are 100 times worse than you could ever think of being. The urges that you feel and felt back then, Dan, are nothing compared to some of the things I've heard. Okay? It literally is nothing compared to that. So I understand where you're coming from, but now's not the time to minimize the stuff and say I don't remember. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I didn't have sex with her. I can tell you that.
Okay? That's fine. But the things that you told me, a couple of them are adding up and they don't make sense. One of them is the thing that happened in the boat, which you said you don't remember, but like I told you, I think you do remember. Okay? It's just hard to talk about. And I get that, I understand it. But since this has already been worked out, it's okay to talk about it. And I want to make sure you know that because there's no reason not to talk about it right here. As a matter of fact, if you don't, it can only hurt you. Because then stuff isn't adding up. And it's all got to fall in line for this deal to come through for you. Okay? Does that make sense?
Some ways and other ways it don't, because I'm telling you, like I told you.
That I understand. But she's unconscious at that point. We need to know how she got that way. Because like I said, if this happened...
I don't believe she was unconscious. Really, I don't.
But she wasn't coherent, and I think that was your word. She was incoherent. So, without playing semantics, she's probably not conscious. You got to carry her to the truck. She's slumped over. You got to find a place to put her body. Okay? So, she ended up dead. Okay? You killed her. So you're saying it doesn't matter if that happened at the cemetery, in your truck, or in the boat, or out front. What matters is that you tell us where it happened, and that's consistent with what we know about the evidence in the investigation. That's all that matters. Okay?
Well, then, what you call it, what I think probably happened before she got out of the truck. Does that make sense?
Well, not really, because remember, all these things you're doing to her in the boat, or that's happening to her in the boat, she's not putting up a fight, which doesn't make any sense. And then you have to help carry her to the truck, and then she's slumped over in the truck. So by that time, she's already probably incoherent at least, if not already dead at that point.
Well, then she might have been, because what you call it, I had to help her in the truck.
Okay? So then let's talk about how she got that way, Dan. It's that easy. Because there's no reason right now to not talk about that.
Well, the only other way I can think of, she hit her head.
Okay.
Before she got
But
out.
what I don't want is for you to think something happened. I want you to tell me exactly what happened, because you know.
I'm sure she hit her head before she got into the truck.
Okay. What'd she hit her head on?
Probably on the side of the truck, on the pillar of the truck.
This is when you're helping her in the truck,
In
right?
the truck.
Okay, so you're telling me that as you're helping her in the truck, she hits her head?
She hit her head.
There wouldn't be a need for you to help her get to the truck like you said you were before if she didn't hit her head until after she was getting in the truck. So in other words, from the boat going to the truck, you had to help her because she was kind of incoherent. She wouldn't be that way if she hit her head after that. Something happened to her before that. And I can tell you she didn't hit her head.
Well, then maybe before she got in the truck.
Okay? So let's talk about when that happened.
The only thing I can think of is what you call I had.
Okay.
Because I helped her
I understand that. I need you to tell me what happened, not what you think happened. Because if you tell me what you think happened and it's not right and consistent with everything, you're not going to be honest with me, okay? And she's not screaming, yelling, kicking, fighting,
She
scratching.
said, stop.
Okay. Was she happy, sad, mad?
I don't know if she was happy or what, but
So you, after she gets out of the boat and she's standing up and she passes out. Okay. What happened next? So right now, you're standing up, she's standing up, she passes out. What happens?
then I dragged her to the truck.
Okay. Where's the bag?
Where's the bag?
Okay. You drug her to the truck, correct? And then what?
Got her in the truck.
And the truck, is that really in the same spot that you pointed out there?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a party going on across the street with the whole football team, you said, and you're dragging a girl that's unconscious out of your garage into the open.
Correct. They
Okay.
couldn't see in that
Why?
because there was a divider in there and nobody could see in there.
About what time did she come to your house on her bike? Ballpark.
I'm going to say about 5:30 or so.
Okay. About how long was it, or what time was it when you drug her to the truck? How long was she there?
Probably 40 to 45 minutes.
Okay. Did you know this girl at all?
No,
Did you know her family?
no.
You didn't tell your family that you knew her family or her?
We didn't know the family.
Pardon?
We did not know the family.
I asked you, did you know the family or her? Ever see her before? Ever see her family before? Okay. When she rode up there, did you have any idea who she was?
None.
And remember, it doesn't matter.
I know.
Okay.
No, I didn't know who her family was. I didn't.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question here, Dan, and this is to determine how honest you're being with me. Remember, this whole thing is based on you being truthful with me right now, right? I already know the answer to this, but some of the things you've already told me, it's very easy to understand that this was planned out, right? You had 3 zip ties, the right amount to put on somebody's hands behind their back. You had the cutters right with you. You had the bag. You did the exact same thing that you did in White Pigeon. Hey, come here and help me move some stuff. And it's probably some of these urges that are going on inside you, inside your head. I understand that. But you may not have planned it for her specifically, if you knew her or if you didn't know her. But if you thought about doing this before, hadn't you?
No, I didn't.
Really? You're not being honest with me right now.
Yes, I am.
And you didn't just happen to have 3 zip ties in your pocket and something to cut them with.
Now you bring me cigarettes and stuff. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
That just wasn't a coincidence, Dan. And again, at this point, it doesn't mean anything, but I just wanted to judge your honesty.
Did I have an urge to do it?
Of course you did, I know that. I just need you to tell me that, or to be honest with me about it. Because it wasn't a coincidence you had 3 zip ties, something to cut them with, a bag, and all that stuff.
I probably had the urge years ago.
Sure, I know, I understand.
And
Thank you for being honest.
And
Thank you for being honest.
it finally came to a head.
And you acted on it. Urges that somebody has from a long time ago that build up over time, it's almost impossible to resist them. So I understand that. Thank you for your honesty. So, let me ask you this, Dan. Where did you kill it? Was it in a boat, or was it in a truck, or was it in the cemetery?
It was in the cemetery. Honest to God, swear on my Bible, everything. It was in the cemetery.
So what happened in the garage then? Anything? With the bag?
No.
Well, why'd you just tell me you did?
Huh?
Why'd you tell me you did that? You just told me you stood her up and she passed out.
I don't know.
You're killing me, Dan. You understand that, right? Because it doesn't make any sense right now. There's no reason for you not to be honest.
I probably killed her in the garage after I got her out of the boat. She had to help herself some to get out of the boat.
Okay.
Because I don't know how much she weighed at the time or nothing like that. I'm not a very big guy, so I couldn't lift up very much. So,
So, just trying to clarify and understand. You just told me you killed her at the cemetery, you swear on your Bible. Then you said you just did it after she got out of the boat. Which is it, Dan?
I think I killed her at the house.
I don't want to know what you think.
I killed her at the house, okay? I killed her at the house.
Okay. When?
When I got her out of the boat.
Okay. So that's when it happened. Let me take you on a different path here. We went to your house where you lived, in that garage where this allegedly happened. Okay. Upstairs was that little attic, that old loft type of thing. Some things up there that we found of yours. Okay. Some zip ties that were cut. Some rope that was cut. A bag with some kid stuff in it. A little jump rope, a SpongeBob remote control.
That was all my daughters.
Okay. Everything? What about the rope that was tied and then cut?
She and stuff like that.
Okay. There were zip ties down in the basement of that house that looked like they had been used and cut off.
That was from a repairman.
Okay.
We came down to repair some electrical work.
Okay. Now, remember that everything hinges on you being honest today, right? That stuff that I just mentioned is all up at the lab being tested right now. Is anything of that going to come back with any little girl's DNA on it? Or any others other than your daughter, which you just said?
Not that I know.
Okay. Every time somebody said that to me, they know. Because it's either a hell no or a, well, not that I know of. So Dan, be honest with me.
I am honest.
Okay? We've got some rope that's cut. We got a sleeping bag. We got a pillowcase with a girl's jump rope, a SpongeBob remote control in there, and a couple other little trinkets. Is any of that going to come back with DNA or any other girl's DNA on it, other than?
Shouldn't. Shouldn't.
You're right, it shouldn't, but is it? When that lab gives us a report, it's probably going to be next week. What's it going to say?
Negative.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. You have anything, Brian?
Yes. Dan, I want to know that particular day, the day that you encountered, right? What was happening what were you doing when this started? What were you doing before you ever ran into her, before she ever ran into you?
It was fall cleanup week.
Okay.
Constitute. We bought the house maybe 2 or 3 years before that. The people that owned that house left all their shit in the garage and on the front porch, which now has a deck on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At the time when we bought the house, there was a front porch on it. We had the front porch all ripped off, put that deck on. There was all kinds of leftover shit that the people left there. I was hauling it all out to the road. So what you call it, they would come and pick all that shit up, Constantine would, on a fall cleanup week.
Mm-hmm.
There was all kinds of old paint cans and shit like that. Same way in the basement. I was hauling all that trash out of there because they had left all kinds of trash in the bottom of the house. I got the basement all cleaned out and then I started on the garage. Well, what you call it? I had probably 3/4 of the crap cleaned out of the garage. Still with a little bit of shit up in the rafters and stuff. So I got all that out. I had taken all the crap that was in the upstairs in that garage out. There was still a lot below. And what you call it? I didn't get it all out. And that's all there was to it.
So you were doing that by yourself all day? No
After
help?
I got home from work. I had work that day.
Okay. And what time did you get home from work?
4 o'clock.
In the afternoon? Okay. And when you got home from work, who was there?
Nobody.
No?
My wife was working. My kids were already gone.
Okay. Where was she working? What hours did she work there?
Oh, it all depends. She was working. She basically worked all night till like 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
So she didn't know nothing was going on until she seen all the police cars and fire trucks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we heard that, seen it on the news. And the next day, the same way.
You saw it on the news? What was going through your mind?
I thought, oh God. I don't know, it was just thinking maybe, nothing came of it. Maybe I did get away with something,
Mm-hmm. Did the police come and talk to you?
Huh?
Did the police come and talk to you at some point?
And they came and talked to my wife, they didn't talk to me.
Okay. Were you there when that happened?
When the police came, yeah, I was there.
Okay. You didn't, tell me why. Tell me how that happened.
Did what?
When the police are there talking to your wife and you're there, you're not in the conversation?
Nope.
Why?
I don't know why. I was in the house. They didn't say nothing to me.
How'd that make you feel?
Good.
Yeah? Why?
I don't know, maybe because I got away with it or whatever.
How long after this happened did that contact with the police occur?
Next day,
Oh, the next day. They came right to your house.
they were going door to door.
Mm-hmm. Did you work the next day?
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to you doing your fall cleaning, and you did your paint cans and everything in the house and clean up all the shit off the whatever porch, and you're in the garage, right? What happens next? What's the next thing that you remember?
Nothing. I mean, I had everything out of the garage. Cleaned up all what I did in the garage.
Okay. And what happened next?
I just went about my daily business.
Okay. Which consisted of what?
Going back and forth to work.
That day I'm talking about.
Oh, that day?
Yeah.
Went to bed.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to walk you through the day again, okay? I know you've done this a couple times. Let me ask you this. You've spoken with your family, correct?
Huh?
You've spoken with your family today, correct? And now you've spoken with us, right? What's different from what you've told your family to what you've told us?
Nothing.
So we go talk to them, they're gonna tell us that everything you told us is exactly what you told them. Is that right?
Well, more or less, yeah.
I don't want them more or less.
I just told them that I was sorry and stuff like that, and that I was on these pills and stuff. My mind just went,
Is that what you told them? I didn't hear that you tell us that. Maybe I missed it. Yeah. Okay. I haven't been here the whole time.
That's what I told them.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for my wife telling me to get out smoking these damn things and stuff like that, she tried to get me to quit. I don't know how many different times.
Mm-hmm.
And let's call it, she got me on these Shantex or Shrintex or whatever hell they're called.
Okay.
And let's call it, I was taking 2 of them every day because they're supposed to make you quit smoking and stuff.
Doesn't work.
Doesn't
Obviously, right?
Huh?
Obviously, it doesn't work.
No. So,
At some point during the day that day, you encountered, correct?
correct.
Tell me about that.
Just that I had her come up and help me, and was going to have her help me, on the back porch, get stuff out. And let's call it, that's when I grabbed her and did what I did.
Okay. You're speaking in general terms, and I know you've been through this a couple times, but we got to be a little bit more detailed than that. Where were you when she came by?
I was between the house and the garage.
Okay.
I was at this point right down here.
Okay. And how did you encounter her? How did you have a conversation with her? How did anything
No,
start?
I seen her ride up.
Okay.
On her bicycle.
Right up where?
Right up the street.
Okay.
That's when I said, hey,
Fifth Street?
White Pigeon Road.
Okay, I'm with you.
She came around White Pigeon Road. She stopped right here, right in front of my driveway.
Okay.
That's when she walked up to the garage around this way, in between the house and the garage.
Why? Why did she do that?
I have no idea. Just because I asked her to come up there and help me.
Okay, that's what we're getting at. Is that why she came into your, what did you say to her?
I said, hey, young lady, so will you help me for a minute? She said, sure. So she came up to the house, came in between the house and the garage. That's when I got her right here at the steps. And that's when I stuff. And I took her into the garage, put her in the boat.
You how?
Just like this.
With what? Together? With what? So how many did you use?
3.
What color were they?
White.
Where did you get them?
I got them from work.
Work where?
At American Axle when I worked there.
Okay. When did you get those?
Oh shit, I've had it I had it for a long time.
How long is a long time?
Oh God. Probably 12, 13 years.
You had these zip ties for 12 or 13 years? Okay. And part of your daily routine, you were cleaning, right? That day. That's what you were doing that day.
I didn't start cleaning until after 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. After you got home from work, you were cleaning. So you really hadn't, how much time have you been cleaning, doing this stuff?
Probably 2 days.
Okay, that day, how long? Before you arrived?
Maybe an hour.
Okay, about an hour. What else were you doing besides moving stuff to the road?
Nothing.
Okay. What requirement would it have been for you to have zip ties in your possession to do those tasks?
Maybe I thought I could lure her in.
Did you know she was coming?
No. I just happened to see her.
Okay. Well, if it had been any girl going by, you were ready? Is that what you're saying?
More or less, yes.
Were you hoping that someone would come by?
Yeah.
You were ready. Is that right?
Yeah, I was ready.
Okay. What were you ready for?
Probably a
Okay. Tell me about that. Tell me why that was going through your head. And be honest.
I just wanted to have.
Okay. Well, we're all men here. Sorry. Except I thought of that as soon as I said that. I mean, I'm with you. You know, that's kind of something that we all enjoy, right? But it seems like it was kind of controlling you from what you're.
Premeditated.
What's that?
Premeditated?
What do you mean?
Well, it's probably gonna. First thing that came along. I didn't know what, you know.
Why were those feelings so strong?
I don't know. Really, I don't. Someone just told me, go ahead and have it. You know,
Say that again?
just go ahead and have it.
Who said that?
My mind.
Okay. You really wanted to have sex bad.
Yeah.
How were things with your wife?
I was wrong.
Okay. Sounds like you were working in the day and she was working in the night type thing. Not seeing her very much. How long had that been going on?
8 years.
8 years. And on November 8th, 2007, you just couldn't take it anymore?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the first day either, is it?
Uh-huh.
That's not the first day you had those feelings, is it?
No.
What was different about this day?
I don't know. Something just boggled my mind. Just out of the blue, you know. So,
When did you obtain the zip ties?
oh shit, over the years.
Okay, that day. When did you put them have them in your grasp? Are you just walking around with zip ties waiting for a girl to, I don't understand, help me understand.
I had them zip ties laying by the back door. So I thought, well, this is an easy way of doing it, you know, getting my hands on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I had zip ties all over the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably had 10 or 15 laying by the back door.
When you asked to come and help you move some things, what did you have on your mind? Okay. And then when did you with her?
That night, but I didn't,
Okay. And that's what was on your mind, and that's what you were ready to do. You snapped, and you didn't do that?
no, I backed off.
Okay. Because why?
Something just happened in my mind to just think, oh God, what did I do here?
Mm-hmm. At what point did that go off in your mind? What was happening at the exact moment that you suddenly realized that you needed to back off?
After I got her out of the boat.
Okay. Okay. So we haven't got to the boat yet. We went ahead a little bit. You lured her in there. You told her you wanted to have her help you with something, and you said you had the zip ties. They were white, sitting on your back porch?
Well, when you open the door up, they were laying right here by the door.
Okay.
So all I had to do was reach over and pick them up.
Okay. How many of them were there?
Probably 20 of them.
Okay. Were they loose in a bag?
They're all loose.
Okay. And then by the back door? And what conversation or what types of things were happening right then between you and her? What was she doing? What were you doing?
Or she said, what did she say? She said something, I don't remember what she said. And I just said, it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. We'll get through this. And that's when I took her in the garage.
Okay. How did you take her in the garage?
Walked her in.
Okay. You met her already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you walked her into the garage. It's not very far, right?
No, it's
Just across
probably 20 feet.
Okay. When you say you walked her in, what do you mean?
Just when she was this, we just walked in the garage. And I go to step up in the boat. So I got her into the boat. That's when I...
Why did you want to go in the boat?
Because I didn't want to have her on the dirty floor. You know, I thought in the boat, because the boat was all clean and everything. We had just got it done cleaning it and stuff. It'd be a lot better if it was on a clean surface than a dirty surface.
Okay.
So,
What was happening during that time with her? What was she doing or saying then? Tell me how you know that.
because she's in a little while.
Okay. And then what happened?
That's when I got her out of the boat.
Okay, well, you're in the boat, you're following her, right? Tell me how that happened. Tell me what you did exactly.
I thought, what am I doing here, you know? So I got her back out of the boat. And that's when I probably...
Why did you do that, Dan?
I have no idea.
Well, looking back on it now, what do you
But
think?
she said, I thought, if I let you go, the first thing you're going to do is run and tell the police. And stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, so...
What was going through your mind?
I thought, oh God, what did I do here? You know.
What did you do?
That's when
What was the reason for that then?
probably to get, not probably, to get rid of her.
To kill her, you mean? What was going through your mind when this was happening? In this, listen.
I just was wondering, what can I do here? What, you know, what did I do here? You know,
Did you ever cry about this, David?
huh?
Did you ever cry about this?
Oh, I cried about it a lot.
Tell me about those feelings.
Sad. Very sad. Now I'm also ashamed of myself. Ashamed I did this to my family. But now it's all coming out. It's taking the burden off me.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I'm kind of glad of it.
Did you ever think this day would come?
No.
You never thought about it?
I didn't think about it until I got what I was going to do to me.
Same thing. Would you have killed her?
What?
Would you have killed her?
Probably not.
Going back to the boat, you're in the boat, you realize what you did was wrong, you put the you said, right?
Yep.
You did that because you
I was scared.
were scared. And you said you wanted to get rid of her. Basically, kill her is kind of what I gathered. It's what you agreed to say, right? Is that right?
Correct.
And what happened next?
What do you mean what happened next?
What happened next? You're in the garage. You're thinking that you need to get rid of her. You're scared. What happens next? Basically, we're telling the story, and
I
you're
was trying to think where I could take her and get rid of her.
okay.
And I don't know why I chose the cemetery.
Okay, but that's what you chose. Okay. And then what happened?
Well, I killed her and put her by that monument and left her.
You did what?
I pulled up to a monument or a headstone or whatever. That's where I dumped her.
Okay. You dumped her there. Okay. Had you ever been there before?
Never.
Okay. Why did you pick there?
I don't have any other reason.
No
I
reason.
thought that was the darkest part of the cemetery.
Mhm. What time was that? You know, listen, it's a long time ago, right?
Right.
So I know that you can't tell me precisely what time it was, but let's start with just by saying, was it dark or light
It
outside?
was dark.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Rainy, dark night.
Okay. Rainy, dark night? Okay. So she got to your house shortly, 45 minutes, you said, after you got home from work, right? Would you get home from work at 4 o'clock or you get out at 4?
A little after 4.
Okay. So you did a little bit of work for 45 minutes to an hour, so you're saying around 5 o'clock or so? She shows up. She's there for about 45 minutes or so. So we're going on 6.
Oh, 6.
Okay.
A little after 6.
Okay, does that sound right? Is that
That's
the time frame that you're
That's what I'm
in?
thinking it was.
Okay. What did you do after you dumped her?
Went home.
Okay, what'd you do?
Got rid of all my clothes, got rid of the bag, got rid of the wire ties, threw them all in the trash, put them in another garbage bag, throw them in the trash. Then I cleaned the truck after that.
That night?
Mm-hmm. Wiped out where she was at, where in the truck.
How'd you do that? What'd you do that with?
With, I forget what kind of chemical it was. And the seats, I cleaned the seats with shampoo.
And what's the next thing you remember happening regarding her after that?
The only thing I can remember then is what you call it, that my wife got home from work and we went to bed.
Watching TV?
Yeah, we watched TV,
What'd you watch?
watched the news. Next morning we got up, watched the news before I went to work.
When did you see it?
Probably the next morning.
When you took her to the cemetery and dumped her, you took her in your truck, you said? Your 93 GMC 1500? 97? GMC 1500, what color was that?
I rode deep burgundy.
Deep burgundy? Where is that truck now?
If I'm not mistaken, it's in Minnesota somewhere.
Sold it? The person who purchased it is in Minnesota?
Don't ask me his name because I couldn't tell you.
And when did you sell
A couple years after this happened.
it? How did that come? Did you just put it in a paper or
Put a for sale sign on it in the front yard
in Constantine or in White Pigeon?
in Constantine.
Okay. And somebody came by, made you an offer, so you sold it to him, he lived in Minnesota.
He also bought the awning that was in front of the garage.
Okay.
That was a carport in
Okay.
front of the garage.
Did you have a for sale sign on that too?
Well, he asked me about it. I said if you come up with $800, you could have it.
Mm-hmm. How did he, do you even know how he came to be in Constantine?
He lived down the street. He used to haul stuff back and forth from Michigan to Minnesota.
You said South Dakota earlier today.
Uh-huh.
You said South Dakota earlier today.
Was it South Dakota? Well, it's Minot, whatever, where Minot is. It might have been Minnesota, South Dakota. I don't know. He said, you know.
Okay. So anyway, whoever you sold the truck to, you sold it to a couple years later and never paid any attention to it after that. For all you know, you can still have it or you don't know.
It was in pretty rough shape when I sold it to him.
Okay. You're going to have to take a polygraph test, I believe, is part of the...
That's
part of-
fine.
Right?
That's fine.
I wanted to ask something, Dan. Earlier, you said that you never thought about it again until you saw me. Right? Why did you have names on a list?
I don't know why I had all the girls on a list.
Well, there's got to be a reason.
I thought maybe I'd kill some McKinsey.
So you did think about it before.
Somewhat, yeah.
Enough to make a list. There are no boys on the list.
I don't know why I chose over the other girls.
And you worked on that list for a couple months?
Yeah, it was just before I got.
So earlier you talked about overwhelming feelings. You must have had that same overwhelming feeling in May and June to make a list.
Yeah,
What about the year before that?
no,
Why not?
I don't know.
Seems like the right thing to do. Yes.
Well, we understand those feelings just don't go away, Dan. The people I've spoken to about these, they don't go away. We know that.
You had them for years before. You told me that. 8 years or so. I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but you didn't just wake up that Thursday and decide that today I'm gonna.
No, I don't know why I had it just that day.
You didn't, Dan. You've had it before, and you've done it before. If you're clearing your conscience, you're clearing your conscience today.
Remember, Chris told you, sat here and told you the same thing. Today's the day you clear your conscience. today's the day you help decide what the story's going to be told, because if you don't.
And remember, I think this is important to you, that's why I'm saying it, okay? We understand you want to save face in front of your family, because that's probably the hardest people to talk about things with, because of the way you're going to look to them and the way they can be portrayed. Remember what I told you about today. We can control this information, okay? The stuff, if you want to talk about the other stuff today, which is going to be your only day to do it, we get to choose whether or not that information stays in here or gets out at a later date, okay? That's the one thing good that's on your side right now.
You know, I don't really know why I did it just that particular day. Really, I don't.
Well, there's been more than that one day, okay? And that's what we're talking about. Does that make sense? Because at least in here, when we talk about it, it can stay in here. You can get it off your conscience, and you never have to worry about it again. Not only do you not have to worry about it again, you don't have to worry about it coming out in the media, to the public, to your family. Nobody has to worry about it again. So talking about it today, there's no better time ever. There will never be another time, better time in your life.
And I really don't know why I chose that day. Really, I don't. So, you know what? I don't really know.
You don't know why you choose any day, Dan, honestly. But it just happens with you, it seems.
I had urges.
And you've acted on them before.
No, I did.
Hear me out for a second. We just sat here and talked about how this is all good for you. How this is all good for you to clear your conscience and become right with yourself and start that healing process for you.
Protect your family name.
All those things, right? That's huge for you. But there is another side to this. Okay? There's other families out there who have little girls, who have sons and daughters, just like you do, who you love dearly, and I know that you do. I know that you love your family. That's the only thing I really, truly know about you, is that you love your family. So put yourself in the shoes of you trying to be getting right with yourself and moving on, protecting all these
If
things.
you're talking about other families, no.
No what? I'm talking about making it right for other people who don't have these answers. Okay? We're talking about here, but there's others.
No, there isn't.
Dan.
No, there isn't. My DNA was...
Dan, did you, when these guys came to your house and talked to you a month or so ago, what did you tell them? What did you tell them when they came and interviewed you and asked you about and told you that maybe it was an accident? What did you tell them?
I told them I didn't know her.
You told them you didn't do it.
That's right.
It's the same thing you're saying here about these other things. That we know some of these things already.
If you're talking about other girls,
Yes.
no. I didn't do it. I'm serious.
Help me understand how that's different from what you told these guys when they were at your house a couple months ago. It's the same thing you told them then. You adamantly denied it.
That's right. I'm denying it now. As far as all them other ones, no. I didn't do it to them. And that's the honest God truth.
That's the same honest to God truth you said when we were talking about earlier. At your house, at your son's house.
Well, I'm telling you, I didn't do it to them.
How many exchange students do you have at your house?
19.
How many of them are female?
12?
How many of them did you have urges for?
None.
Explain to me this. How is this possible?
I don't know. I thought about having sex with one of them, but I didn't have it. Because what you call it, they go back to the international people and say he had sex with me or whatever.
You could just kill her.
Well, I'm not taking the fall for them other girls, I'll tell you that now. Because I didn't do it.
You're only going to tell us what you've done. That's the purpose of this. Is to tell us what you've done. Everything, completely, fully, truthfully.
I killed and that's it. I didn't kill anybody else. And that's not God's truth.
believe that.
You don't.
When you put in the cemetery, when you dumped her there, as you said, where in the cemetery did you put her?
Like a great big monument that was in there.
Okay. How did you drive into the cemetery?
I drove into the cemetery.
Okay, it was dark, you said.
Yep.
Okay. Were your lights on?
I shut the lights off
You did. Where'd you shut them off at?
in the cemetery.
Why?
That way I could dump her body and just leave her right there and take off. Because there wasn't an existing road right there that led out to Foreign Throat.
How's your eyesight, Dan?
How's my eyesight? Good.
Is it? Is it?
Yes.
You struggling with reading at the gym?
Reading that book I had trouble with because the print was so bad.
So you just have a hard time reading?
Uh,
You can see far away?
I
Just
can
can't
far away, yes.
Okay. Did you have any trouble seeing when you were in the cemetery? With your lights off?
No.
Did you stay on the roads?
Stay on the road.
Okay. And she was in the passenger seat of your truck,
Correct.
and you were driving. And who else was in there?
Nobody.
How did you get her out?
Pulled her out of the truck.
From which side?
Passenger side.
Okay. Describe that for me. Tell me how that happened. You got out of the truck, walked over to the passenger side, go from there.
I ran around the passenger side.
Okay.
Put my arms underneath her. Her head laid on mine, shoulder right here, and I just pulled her out.
Okay. Right there beside the truck?
Right beside the truck. Probably 7, 8 feet out off the road.
Is she on the road?
She wasn't on the road. I made sure of that.
Why?
In case somebody rolled up there and ran over her.
Why did she die?
Why she died? Because of
Did you mean for her to die?
I was hoping she wouldn't.
Okay. And then her bike?
They just took her out of the back of the truck and waited by her up in front of her.
What kind of bike was it?
I don't know what kind of bike it was.
With 10 speed?
No, it was a regular bike.
It was what?
Just a regular bike.
Color?
Couldn't tell you that.
Where was the bike when you were doing what you were doing to her in the boat?
Out by the road.
When did you put the bike in the truck?
In the back of it.
When?
When? After I got her in the truck.
Okay. You put her in the truck, and then you
Went out to the road, got the bike, brought it back, put it in the back of the truck.
and drove directly to the cemetery. Left her there,
Dumped
pulled her out of the truck, got back in your truck.
Oh, I threw the bike out,
Yeah. And then what?
and I just left.
Okay, and you went home.
Now,
You keep track of this investigation over the years?
yes.
What'd you learn about it?
When every time it hit the news or whatever, I was scared.
When did you move out of Constantine?
When?
Mm-hmm. Year.
Oh God. Either 2011 or 2012.
And why did you move?
was what you call the,
And then, I mean, this was pretty much the talk of the town for a good while, right? I mean, that's a pretty big thing happening constantly.
probably 5 years. 4 years. to get back.
You ever tell anyone? You ever think about telling anyone?
No.
Never confided in anyone?
Not even my wife.
Never joked about it?
Nope.
Sometimes people do that, you know.
I know.
They'll make a joke about it, saying that, yeah, you know, I did it or whatever, in a joking way, knowing that the other people aren't going to believe them. Nothing like that?
Never.
What was on the floor of that bowl? Was it fiberglass? Was it carpeted? Was it, what
It
was
was carpeted.
it? It was carpeted? Kind of carpet.
Whatever comes in a boat.
Okay. Color?
I couldn't tell you what color it was.
Your boat?
Not mine.
Whose boat?
My
Name? Okay. Where's that boat now?
hard telling where it's at. He sold it, but I don't know where it's at.
Did you clean the boat?
Yeah, I cleaned the boat. We both did.
Who's both?
And
After was in it. Because you rushed home and cleaned the truck out, right? You rushed home and cleaned out your truck,
right.
threw your clothes away. What did you do with the boat?
It stayed in the garage all winter long, and then we cleaned it in the spring of the year.
Why were you concerned about the boat like you were your truck?
Because it was an old fishing boat, actually, what it was.
But she was in it. Just like she was in your truck.
But there wasn't any stains or nothing in it.
Were there stains in your truck?
No.
Did you get injured at all during this?
Not that I know
Did she bite you?
of. No.
Did she fight?
But
Was she fighting you?
no, she wasn't fighting me.
How do you feel today, right now?
How do I feel today? 500 pounds lighter.
Yeah?
Just want to clarify one thing really quick. Earlier you said that her hair was wet because
I don't know if she.
Well, hold on. But we know that's not true because you didn't do the bag in the cemetery. It was in your garage, right? So what happened with that thing?
Huh? What happened to what?
With that whole thing? Was her hair even wet?
Her hair was wet when I took her to the cemetery.
How did it get wet? Because originally, remember, you said you at the cemetery, that's how her hair got wet. But we know that's not true because your house. So what happened?
Well, after she, whatever, I took the bag and threw it off to the side
When did she?
after I got her out of the boat.
I got to take a break and talk to him a minute. Think about that one, okay? For a minute, okay? Because I don't think she Dan. So think about it, okay?
They're made in Mexico, labeled back here in the United States. I I used to work on the grinders, and they had all kinds of yucky coolant and stuff that you had to breathe all day long.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, nobody wanted to do that job but myself.
Mist in the air. Moved out.
All right. So what's the scoop with the hair?
All I can tell you is when and stuff, what's called it, she must have or whatever.
Well, you would know because she's got a lot of hair, and then there's enough throw up to cause her hair to be wet. There's going to be a mess. There's going to be a mess in the bag. So
There was a mess.
there was or there wasn't.
There was. There was a mess in the bag. I wiped her face off.
Who wiped her face off?
I did.
Okay, let's talk about that because this is new. You never said that before.
Okay.
Dan, you gotta be honest. These details, you can't leave stuff out, man.
I'm being honest.
Okay, don't leave stuff out then. Because that's important. We talked about this like 15 different times now, and this is the first I've heard of you washing her face. Right?
Her hair was all wet.
Okay.
All I know is she must have
Okay, so what'd you wipe her face off with?
an old rag
Where'd you get it?
in the truck.
Okay. And where were you when you wiped her face off?
In the garage.
Okay. So then walk me through this process again. Where were you at when you...
In the garage.
In relation to her?
What do you mean?
Front, side, back,
Side.
under, top?
Side.
So you're standing beside her when you... Okay. Stand up and show me where she was and where you were.
I picked her up, brought her over the side of the boat.
Okay.
And when I got her out of the boat, she laid her head up against my shoulder.
Okay.
That's when I... just before I took her out of the boat.
So why didn't you just say that the first time?
I don't know.
I mean, literally, it went from in the grave to after the boat to in the boat. What's going on, man? Why are you reluctant to just be honest?
Because I don't really feel, man, when I did it. I can't... All I know is I put it... I don't know if it was in the boat, after I got her out of the boat, or what.
Tell me what happened when you...
She started... or whatever. And then, what's called...
What do you mean?
Huh?
Help me understand. Okay.
Right? And she made it
Okay.
like she was... whatever.
Okay.
So I just...
Okay.
and I took her to the truck. And then, what's called, when I got her in the truck, she was already dead.
Okay.
Got her to the...
Hang on, let me back you up.
I know what I said the first time.
Well, not only that, but just a second ago, you said you wiped off her face in the garage. You had to go to the truck, get a rag, go back to the garage, wipe her face off.
I had a rag.
Now you just said you had in the truck.
Somewhere in between. I either had her put before I got her in the truck, or when you got to the cemetery, wiped your face off and dumped her.
Okay.
Dan, you're saying you're driving down the road to the cemetery with a dead body in your car, in your truck.
Yes.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Did you come across anybody on the way?
Nobody. I went directly from my house to the cemetery.
Okay. And you dumped her there. And you got out of there. And you went back home, right?
Right.
Okay. How many times have you been back there since?
Back where?
to where you dumped her?
I haven't.
Never?
No.
Are you sorry for what happened?
Yes, I am. Very sorry.
How do you express that? While you're trying to be secret about everything and trying to keep your own self-preservation and not get caught, right?
Right.
How are you expressing any of this sorrow that you're saying you're having?
I don't know. Really, I don't. I have a gut feeling, every time I went past that cemetery.
You can't do it? Can't go there?
Nope.
Did you go visit any of the vigils or anything like that?
No.
Why?
Just a reminder.
A reminder of what?
Reminder that I killed it.
It's not a good feeling, right?
No.
It's not easy to talk about, is it?
No.
We're past that now, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. It feels better, right? 500 times better, I think you said. Right?
Right.
You can feel better than that.
Huh?
You can feel better than 500 times better. Okay? You have more skeletons in your closet than you have told us. We all know this already.
No, I don't.
Listen to me a second, okay? I don't know how many people you've killed in your life. I don't know. There are people who have killed countless people, hundreds of people. There are people who have killed 5 or 6. I don't know where in that range you fit. I don't have all those details. But you can fill us in on those, because this is your chance today to do that.
She's the only one I killed.
Okay. I believe that what you're telling me you think is true.
It is true.
I believe that what you're saying you think in your mind is true. But I'm not 100% convinced that it is. You didn't just decide, okay, maybe it is. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And I'll say that's the only person that you killed. But you didn't just wake up that day and have an urge to fondle or rape or have sex with, whatever word you want to use, with a girl. It didn't happen.
Yes, it did.
Not just that day. It's happened before.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
No, it has not.
You said yourself you've had those feelings before.
That's right. But I've never killed anybody before.
I'm not saying that, but you've had those feelings before and you've acted on those feelings before. There are other girls out there that you have fondled or that
No, there isn't.
Dan.
No, there is not.
How can we be sure of that? I don't believe that.
You don't, boy. I'm telling you the truth.
Dan, he's got something to show you. Something that you can't argue with. Okay? When Brian said, we know you have, Dan, he's right.
No, he isn't. That ain't me.
Are you kidding me?
I don't care what that looks like. That's
Let me
not
ask
me.
you, what's that look like?
I don't know, but it doesn't look like me.
This is no driver's license picture of yours, correct?
This is 1997. Same year that composite was drawn.
I don't care, but that is not me.
Dan, none of this is you. Okay? I believe that. This isn't who you really are. It's whatever happens in your brain when it clicks and things go bad.
I'm telling you right now, that is not me, and I'm not taking the rap for that.
Taking the rap for what?
For whatever that composite is right there. I did not kill anybody else.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Because I don't have those facts. I would be willing to bet you have, but that's all I got right now.
No.
You didn't try to abduct, kidnap, take, lure a child into your home or garage twice, once after you killed someone, and not ever have it had it happen again
Oh,
or
no.
before.
I'm not, no.
You hearing me though?
I'm hearing you.
You
but-
killed her, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And you killed her while you were trying to act out on your sexual problem, right?
Right.
Okay, which you tried to do again to me, right?
No, I was trying to push her out of the garage. I wasn't going to kill her.
I'm talking about your sexual inhibitions.
Well, yeah, I had
Okay, that's what you had on your mind, right?
Right.
Okay, you not only did you have them before those sexual thoughts, you had them after. Even after the worst day in your life ever happened. After you killed, those feelings resurfaced again. They resurfaced after, and they surfaced before that.
No, they didn't.
How are you controlling them? It's a disease, man.
Well, I'm telling you the truth. I killed anybody else.
And you never raped, had sex with any other young girl?
No, I did not.
Never?
Never.
Touched? Nothing?
Nothing.
How in the world does that happen?
Because I always relieve my own self.
Okay. Did you relieve yourself the day you died?
No.
Did you relieve yourself the day it happened?
Yes, I did.
When?
Probably a couple days afterwards.
Do you expect all of us to believe that you never ever had these feelings in your head of wanting to have sex so bad with somebody that you kind of laid in wait, waiting for somebody to come by, anybody, so that you could lure them into you, and that it's only happened twice? You honestly expect us to believe that?
I don't know what you guys believe, but I only had sexual desires with. That's it.
Why did you have those?
I don't know why.
The only reason you're saying this is because you got
one reason I got hooked on some pills.
Okay. When did you start taking those pills?
Probably about a year or a year before.
You told me earlier when we were talking that you had had these thoughts like 8 years prior. Did you not?
Yes, but I never acted on them.
I can't believe you.
I don't care what you believe.
Dan, let me give you a little insight real quick. Part of what's happening here is when you have these, and you're not the only one, by any means, trust me, when you have these urges, you can't control them. Literally, they control you. That's evident. Because let's hypothetically say it was the very first one, which none of us here believe that, but let's say that.
I don't care what
okay,
you believe.
just listen, let me finish. So this whole thing happened and occurred because you couldn't control those urges. Your mind, when you get these urges, your body takes over. Because it's like he said, we believe this. You're a decent guy, that's not you, but these urges take over. So the worst thing that ever happened to you happened that day, right? These urges are so strong and they have a hold of you so much that this happened with again after the worst day of your life. You would think if you could control those, that this would never even cross your mind again after what happened then, because guess what? You got away with murder. And you don't ever want to take that chance again because it doesn't happen twice, right? But those urges were so strong, they controlled you, that you did it again. So we understand that it's not something you can control. That's a deep-seated urge that comes from way back in the back of your brain, Dan. That's where that stems from. So it might not be you that does this, and you can't control it, and that's evident. So we understand that. The reason why, we get it. Okay? But he needs to talk to you for a second about this. Because this doesn't lie.
Dan, my name is Jeff Smith. I work for the city of Sturgis. And I've heard you talk about this case a little bit, and a little bit of the information that you've shared about Parrack and the dealings with. And as these guys have said the same thing, it's not that we don't believe everything that you're saying, but parts of it, you're holding back.
I'm not holding nothing back.
Okay. Well, how old were you when you killed Parrack?
57.
57. So somewhere between ages about 10 or 12 and 57, you never molested, raped, inappropriately touched any other girl in that entire time. Is what
No,
you're telling us.
I didn't. I'm telling you the truth.
Okay. Well, I also heard you say at the beginning that you were telling the truth when you said that you didn't kill Parrack, or you didn't know she was dead, or you didn't know certain things and wants you, including me, for you to say that you did something you didn't do. Okay? And I know that there's a polygraph involved with this agreement, which obviously they'll bring up to this case. And I can tell you that I was working on the night that this happened in 1997. But when you say that doesn't look like you,
It's not me.
I find that hard to believe. And then I also found out that at one point that you told people that you didn't know. But then I find out that you or your wife worked for them at a concession stand at the racetrack. So which part of that's true or not true?
My wife worked for a concession stand, yes. So did her mother.
Okay?
So did her dad once in a while.
Okay? And your brother lived at Memory Lane Trailer Park.
Well, I don't know about that, because me and him never talked.
You and your brother never talked. You never hung out with him. And you didn't know.
No.
And you were never in Sturgis and had anything to do with the disappearance.
No.
So this, along with other evidence, things like that, would just be coincidental.
I don't know about that, but I don't know nothing about Ferris girl. And that's an honest God truth.
I know, I've heard you say that several times today. And then as you talked and they talked more, you decided to become more honest. But I really don't want to sit here for 2 hours rehashing over this entire case for you to tell me whether or not you were involved or not.
I know right now on that Bible and any other Bible, I'm not involved in it.
Okay? Doesn't that Bible say thou shalt not kill?
Yes, it does.
So how do I know you're not lying to me?
I'm not lying to you.
What kind of car did you have in 1997? Besides the Camaro.
And an old Cutlass.
What color?
Right.
So that matches the description that goes along with that person.
But I owned that car for a couple months.
Probably in the fall.
Huh?
Probably in the fall.
That's when I got my new Camaro.
Same time frame, same vehicle.
I'm sorry to tell you that I didn't do it.
And the polygraph's going to show that?
Yes, I will.
Okay. I can't really argue back and forth with you. I think I believe you a little bit more, or maybe I will after a polygraph. I would have believed you a little bit more if you had told these guys that, yeah, between the time that I was in my adolescence, young adults, to the time I was 57, I accidentally touched this girl or I did this, because you went from 0 to 60 all of a sudden with Jodi Parrack. And in 20 years of law enforcement, I've never seen anybody go from 0 to killing somebody like that.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
You can believe me if you want to, if not, that's fine too, but what's called, I know damn well I didn't do it.
Okay. Like I said, I can't argue. I can just tell you the vehicle and that look a lot like you.
And I'm not going to say anything about that Ferris girl because I didn't know damn well I didn't do it.
Dan, what's your biggest fear about being honest today?
My biggest fear? I got everything on the table.
What do you worry about the most about telling the truth?
I'm telling the truth. You gotta believe me.
Dan, listen, first of all, to this point, you went from after the boat. Now you just, the last thing you told me in the boat. Your story just changed 3 times. That means 2 of them aren't true. Go ahead, Ryan.
I want to know the truth from you that's all. About all of it.
I'll tell you the truth, what's called, I killed, okay?
Yes.
As far as, I don't remember when I put it on, if it was in the boat, out of the boat, when it was. I can't remember that time frame.
That's important stuff, though, you know? It's important for us to know.
I know, I can tell you I killed it, okay?
Well, that just doesn't work by itself. That's why this whole thing is happening. That's why you're in here talking to us, okay? Let me just tell you this. I know for a fact that your DNA is all over her. I know that. That's what brought us to your house, right? There's no sense sugarcoating this. We know that, right? So that's a no-brainer.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But we don't know how it got there. We don't know what was happening. So we have to match what you're saying with the case facts that we know. We just can't have you come in here and say, I killed her, and then that's good. We got to know the facts. And they got to match what we know.
Like I said, I don't know if I in the boat, out of the boat, when I did it.
Was she dead at your house?
I think so.
Okay. That's why you had to take her away from there, right?
Right.
When you left her in the cemetery, did you expect her to wake up and walk home?
No.
You killed her at your house.
Yes, I did.
You know that, right?
Right.
Why didn't you just say that from the beginning instead of tap dancing around where it happened at? What does it even matter? We're trying to gauge your credibility is all. Are you just simply not remembering? Is that what you're saying? You don't know where it happened? I never killed anyone, but I damn sure bet you if I did, I know exactly when it happened and where I was at.
I killed her at my house.
In the boat?
In the boat.
Is that right?
Yes.
What makes you say that now?
I'm thinking back when I did it.
Okay, well you need to think back to 1997.
I don't know nothing about that in 97.
Listen, Dan, it doesn't matter. Just like I just told you.
Yes, it does matter because I didn't kill her.
You need to think back all the way and get it all out here right now today.
I am. I've told you I killed her. And that's it.
Okay, so you didn't kill her. What'd you do with her?
I didn't do nothing with her.
You just emphatically told them that you didn't kill her.
Kill who? I didn't kill her.
Okay?
I didn't know who it was.
You didn't know who it was. What difference does that make?
Makes a lot of difference.
You didn't know.
You guys believe what you think, but I didn't kill that girl right there, and I don't know where she's at. I know I killed.
And you did it.
Yep.
White ones
What? Right.
that you cut off and took home and threw them in the trash. Do you think it's wrong of us to come and talk to you about her, too?
No. No.
You think we're right in doing that? Do you not think that that looks like you?
Yeah, it looks like me, but it's not me.
Yeah, I'm glad you finally came to that realization.
I'm sorry, but that is not me. Believe what you want to believe, but I'm not taking a rap for that.
Let me tell you this, Dan, and this is brutally honest. Look at me. The polygraph that you're going to take is going to undoubtedly confirm or deny all of what you're telling us.
That's fine. Give it to me
Okay.
now.
Okay, it's coming. Okay? You can't have anything in your closet, any skeletons in there that you're hiding or you're holding back on. Okay? Because whether it's or 16 other girls, if it's in here, it's going to flunk you on the test.
I know. You
Okay.
usually do flunk a polygraph test.
If you lie,
You're not going to lie about
well, they're only going to be able to ask you about certain things, and it's probably going to be that.
it. What am I asking?
Okay? Listen to me. You do listen to me for a second. This is an important day for you. If you don't come clean with everything that's in there, right now, it'll screw you up on. You hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, so what else do you have that you're worried about us finding out about outside of her?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. So you're going to pass. You have never told a lie in your life. You've never made contact with any young girl or molested a girl or anything like that that's going to come back to haunt you
No.
and make you look guilty in this. Nothing.
Nothing.
But we're right back to where we started. Which is, I've never seen that either. I've never ever seen a man, and we've all been around here for a good while, to know that these things progress over years. Okay? It may be a fondling here, it may be a fingering here, it may be intercourse here, and then boom, someone's dead. That's how things go.
Well, like I said, I'm not taking a rap for that. Because I didn't do anything to
You're not going to take the rap for anything you didn't do. I'm having a hard time believing you did. That's pretty damning right there. That's your face, man. That's your car description. And lo and behold, it's exactly what you did.
Believe what you want to believe, but I'm not taking a rap for that.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to tell us that maybe is fairly insignificant? A little touching, a little cornering a girl, or one of your exchange students, anything like that, that's so trivial compared to where we're at that you need to get off your chest right now?
I've got everything off my chest so far. With Jodi
So far.
Parrack.
So far.
So far.
Dan, polygraph guy's on his way.
That's fine.
You know damn well that I'm the one that holds the cards with the rest of your future at this point in time.
I know that.
My recommendations, my choices at your sentencing, I'm the one that made it happen for you to be able to do this today. Or we would have gone to trial, your family would have been smeared all over the place, your son, your daughter, everybody would have had to do that. I can tell you right now, if you flunk that polygraph, I'm going to be pissed. And there's going to be hell to pay if you're lying to these guys right now.
I'm not lying.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. So you need to think about this. You need to think about everything real hard in the next 15 or 20 minutes before you're strapped up to that machine. And if you want to talk to these guys, you do it. This is it. I've given you immunity. You're not going to be held accountable. It's not going to change the amount of jail time you're given. Your goose is cooked.
I know it is.
You confessed to murdering. We're done with that. But this is about you now. This is about the man who was the referee, the umpire, the everything else. If you want people to say Dan Furlong wasn't a monster, then you need to be honest. Because I can paint whatever picture of you I want to. And I'm going to be the one that has to talk to the press. One way or another. So you do the right thing today, and I'll do the right thing when I have to.
Give me a polygraph test.
I don't want.
I know it. And I need other ones.
He's right, Dan. If there's anything else that we haven't even brought up, that maybe we don't even know about, going to affect your test. And if you fail, all bets are off. You've got immunity. Tell them this isn't going to hurt you. And we control the information, what gets out there. It doesn't get any simpler than what Mr. McDonough just said. Okay? We can control the information right here and right now. If there's something we haven't even hit on, you need to get it out, because it will affect your polygraph test.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I did not kill.
Okay?
That is not me.
Fine. You said that. The polygraph test will tell us if you're truthful. Now let's talk about anything else that we haven't brought up. Because here's what I've encountered in my career. People tend to talk about the stuff that police know about. If we don't know about it, they think they don't know about it. They'll never find out. I'll never get out on this one. The problem is, when that polygraph test question comes up, is there anything else in your past that you've done that you weren't honest about or didn't tell us about? That's going to fail you, and all bets are off. I've seen it happen. People don't like to talk about things that the police don't yet know about, or haven't hit them on, or don't have a lot of evidence on. Okay? He's giving you immunity. That doesn't happen. I've seen that one time in my career, Dan. Okay? Take advantage of it. Because if you don't, and if you fail, and if this all gets out, then it will affect your family. And at least if you tell us now, it won't.
It's not going to affect my family because that's not me.
Okay? Then forget about this one for a minute. Forget about what else?
That's it. I've told you everything.
The thing I don't like, when people say things heatedly, things up here come out, like so far. Dan, it tells me that there is more. People don't just say that on accident. We all three picked up on it just like that. It was like a firework that just went off, Dan. Okay? So when we tell you there's more, we may not know specifics, we may not know names, times, places, but there is more. And if you don't tell us, you're digging your own grave, man. And there's no, literally, there's no other reason not to.
There's nothing else.
If that's your choice.
How many people have you killed in your life?
Huh?
How many people have you killed in your life?
Just
How many people have you molested in your life?
40.
How many people have you tried to molest in your life?
40.
Well, we know about
Me too, but let's go.
You see what I'm saying?
I
You
see
gotta
what
think. You gotta be thinking in there. Your brain's gotta be working. You love your wife, don't you?
Yes.
You're embarrassed by what's happened here, aren't you?
Yes.
In fact, you want her to just move on, don't you?
For my wife,
Mhm.
yes. And my kids.
To not deal with this anymore, right? Kind of, you'd rather they just forgot about you. They're not going to. They care for you.
I'm telling you, that's not me.
Listen to me, it's not you. I already agreed with you. It isn't you either. That's not the type of guy that anybody who knows you to be. It happens. It happened. For your family's sake, and for these other families' sake, let's just put an end to it.
Let's just see what the polygraph says.
No, let's just tell the truth.
I am telling you the truth. I don't know anything about her or anything else. It's just Jodi.
Well, I guess I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. I mean, we could do this all day. I want you to put everything in perspective, though. Just like you just said. There's a whole lot of fallout that could come from this. It's all about you being honest.
I am being honest. I don't know nothing about that.
It's not. You didn't know anything about either. Am I right?
You're right.
It's hard to believe somebody who's lied previously. I'm sure you instilled that in your kids. don't know what happened here with any of these other kids, I don't know. Because it surely isn't what you've raised as a family man, as a father. I can tell you wholeheartedly that I know that you're better than what happened on these days. We can't go back in time to fix things. We can't turn back the clock and make it all better. We're here right now today, and from this moment on, this is where the getting better happens. And you have it in your ability to do that. For everybody's sake. I wish that you would. Please.
Like I said, I don't know anything about these other girls. All I know is about that's it.
Is that just because that's all we know about? That's because that's what we're talking about here today?
I don't know.
Alright. Well, I mean, that's where we're at, so I think I'm all set. I need this though. Okay?
That's fine.
Who's got? Yeah.
Dan. I know we already talked a lot. And I told you that I was going to do whatever I could to make sure that the story that's told is how we decide how it's going to be told, right? I told you that I was going to do what I could to work with them to keep the media out and to spare your family.